What I want to focus on today is the simple topic of shame. We live throughout our lives full of shame for what we've been taught to be recognized, identified as shameful. The problem with that mentality, with that frame of thought, is that most of what we consider real shame may not even be shameful to us if we took the moment to actually think about our own values as opposed to what the rest of the society has taught us from an early age. So going deep back into my favorite conversation of all time, my favorite topic of all time, which is the conditioning of our brains. At the youngest possible age, at a time where we have no recollection, no memory of it surviving, and so we have certain thoughts deeply embedded in our mind to a point where we believe these are our own thoughts, these are our own original perspectives of life. But life is completely blank. Life does not have right or wrong. Life does not distinguish between good and bad. Everything just is. And when we start to identify what is right and what is wrong, what is shameful and what is something maybe we can be proud of, we are now in two different categories at the same time. One of which is our conditioning, our upbringing, and the other is potentially our own beliefs, our own original thoughts, right? Where most of us get lost is that we do not understand the difference between these two. I want to have a burger for dinner. Is that what I'm craving because that is genuinely one of my favorite foods of all time? Or is that just because I've been fed too many burgers for the first 10 years of my life, and so I know nothing better than that? If I lived on the opposite side of the planet, maybe I wouldn't have eaten any burgers. And so now in my 30s, a burger would not be a craving of mine. Maybe it would be dumplings. And you see that the examples are so hilarious. They're so simple, they're so basic. But once we apply these to our career choices, once we apply these to our lifestyle choices, once we apply these to what kind of relationships we want to have in life, what kind of partners we find attractive, what kind of individuals are we attracted to? Are we even attracted to, are we heterosexual or homosexual? Which sex are we truly attracted to, or both? Then everything gets polluted. Everything becomes a game of conditioning, and everything can be questioned. There is no right or wrong. Remember, there is no good and bad. There is no shame and pride. It is all just a simple blank human experience. So the basic breakdown for us is to create space between our desires, is to create space between the social norm, between the life as we know it in the outside world, and then to be able to question for ourselves, what is it that we want? And if we want this or that, then why? Why do we want this? What is even exciting about this particular desire of ours? Where does that desire generate from? What's our first memory of wanting that? Okay, so let's take an example. I always wanted to play the piano. Where does that desire come from? Well, I already played the guitar growing up, and just about every good musician, every great composer had their hands on the piano at some point. So I knew it's something that I should probably get into, not knowing why, but most of the people that I admired growing up were able to play the piano because they were all legendary musicians. Okay, so is that conditioning or is that a personal desire? Could be both. Maybe you can argue that I found music through a conditioning source, right? Playing the guitar was a very sexy thing to do at the time, so that made me excited for it. However, then I found a different level of love underneath all of it, and piano became the thing because, again, the greatest composers were all proficient on the piano. Now, where do I take that desire? So, how much do I need to invest in that desire? Time and energy and money. And how much do I get from it? And what do I get from it? Is there even anything that I wish to get or gain from? Or is it essentially me devoting myself to the service of that cause? You know, I can become a musician only to play music for myself and for others. There's nothing to be gained from that experience. It's simple joy of just pursuing it, of just doing it, right? Or is there anything beyond that? Is there potentially a career to be had? Perhaps teaching others on that journey, working with students, working with other musicians, producing music for other people, right? And expansion of the art, expansion of self, expansion of relationships with others throughout that journey, because the pursuit of piano or the pursuit of guitar or music has not just been a solo pursuit. Eventually I got to meet other musicians and I inevitably had something in common with them. So it became easy to create friendships in that realm, in ways that maybe it wouldn't have been as easy for me to make friendships with people who are into archery, because I know absolutely nothing about archery. Each desire, every single want, every single what we consider need perhaps, has a root in our conditioning and a root within our original self. And our journey is to understand that. Our journey is to create awareness of that. Every single desire deserves to be questioned. Every single desire deserves to be contemplated on. And where shame comes from in the middle of all of this, remember that's where we started this conversation, is that certain desires are dangerous. Certain desires are forbidden. Certain desires are considered harmful physically or emotionally for us or for other people around us. And I'm not talking about dangerous activities in terms of punching someone in the face. I'm talking about exploring a certain drug for yourself, right? And the potential risks that come with that for you and for your loved ones. I'm talking about learning how to sky jump, right? Or do something, go on an extreme hiking adventure where you're exposed potentially to dangerous animals, predators. And there's a level of danger that comes with that, and your loved ones unfortunately will have to be in acceptance with that, or completely be oblivious to what it is that you're doing with your life. Shame, that's the shame that I'm referring to here, the shame of avoiding adventure, right? We tend to avoid, especially modern men, we tend to avoid adventure in the fear of not just failure, but shame that might be produced and caused by if something potentially gone wrong, and then you had to answer to your parents why you went down this journey, caused them a lot of money, a lot of headache, right? Or your girlfriend or your wife or whoever. Adventure is such a substantial part of our lives. Adventure is such a fuel to every other category. And for most of us, it is a huge, huge journey of self-discovery. Adventure is a tremendous amount of growth and a tremendous amount of existence. Through an adventure, we live and experience life much more cohesively, let's say in a span of 2 nights or 3 days or whatever, than we would have otherwise if we had just done something casual for that same period amount of time. So through adventure, we live life at a deeper rate. And by rate, I mean rate of experience and rate of time. Imagine if you could break down every second of time into multiple hours, right? So when 5 minutes go by for another human being, you might be able to experience a week of experiences within that, or days of experiences within those 5 minutes. It sounds ridiculous, but that's what adventure does for us. It allows us to experience life at a faster pace, yet a more cohesive rate, quickly, far quicker, far faster than we would have otherwise. So, to conclude the video, identify where shame drives for you, is driven for you. Identify where shame is coming from and question it. Where has it always been here? Where did it come from to begin with? Who put it here? Why is it here? What is about this topic that causes any level of shame? And if the topic is worth the adventure, if the voyage is worthwhile, then the adventure must be experienced. If the voyage is worthwhile, then the adventure must be experienced. Till next time.